Hi, good morning. I said time to stop hiding my shame. Like, we all know the book was there. There's no point in hiding it. Can you hear my fucking computer ripping a Metallica CD right now? Because it is so loud. This is a week in review. It is November 2nd, 2025. It is 5:38 in the morning, I think that says. This is going to be a short one. I didn't read very much. I didn't watch anything. I only received one piece of physical media. I did play two games, which is weird for me, but this is going to be a pretty short one. Let's talk about everything. First up, what I'm currently reading. I am like 260 pages into Horns by Joe Hill, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think the more Joe Hill I read, the more I want to reread Heart Shaped Box, which was the first book I read by him. And I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't have anything against it. It wasn't anything I really enjoyed. But reading Horns, I'm loving it. It's so fun. I really like a lot of the character work. I like a lot of the metaphor. I think that there's a lot going on here. I think it's great. Um, I feel like I feel like Joe Hill is. This feels kind of sacrilegious to say. I feel like Joe Hill is what Stephen King could be if he slowed down a bit. Um, no, I'm having a good time. I hope I can finish it today. It looks like I have a lot left, but I literally read this first half of this book. Like, I think I've read maybe 20 pages today. Other than that, I read it all yesterday. I read literally half of the book in a day. Um, so I would like to finish it today. So let's talk about what I've read, and what I've played. I guess because I didn't watch anything um, last week. So the first thing I finished was I did finish playing a game. I played, let me pull out that, Emily is Away 3, 2021. It took me 2.5 hours. I went for Evelyn, so of course she broke my fucking heart. But I could see the writing on the wall, so I was a little bit mean too, and Matt is my only true friend. Anyway, Emily is Away 3 is apparently the third in a series of games. But it's like basically like a Emily's Away 3 is like a Facebook simulator. It's 2008, 2009, and you're on Facebook, and that's where the whole story takes place. And you can like pick your kind of responses, you can pick who you're gonna interact with, and it's a very fun time. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, but yes, I really liked Evelyn, but then she started listening to hip hop and hanging out a lot with Steve, and I was like, So then I was mean to her, and she broke up with me for good. But no, Matt's a real one. Okay, so that was the first thing I played. Then I finished up a book. I finished up reading Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. For her kid, I counted this as Spooky Creature Spirit. Thinking back on it, I should have switched this to Other Creature because he's a guy who lives in a sword, right? But I have him down as a spirit right now because he's dead. Like whatever. But Sword Heart follows Hala, who is this respectable widow who has been living with her uncle since her husband died, and she's basically just been like a housekeeper for him. She's been helping him take care of things. And when he dies, her and the rest of his family find out that he left literally everything to her, and his family's not happy about that. So they kind of take her captive, and they're like, "You are going to marry your cousin." And so she draws this old sword that's in her room because she's gonna kill herself, and this guy shows up because this guy lives in the sword. So then they go on this quest to go and figure out how to get Hala her inheritance and everything, and not make her marry her cousin who has clammy hands. And they fall in love, and it's adorable. This was really fun. This was my first T. Kingfisher book. And I honestly, once I finished this book, I don't think I'd even finished it. Once I was halfway through this book, I went on Fable and I added a whole bunch of like so many more T. Kingfisher books to my want to read list, because this was so fun. I especially loved Zale. Zale was my favorite. Zale is a priest of the rat, and they're a lawyer, and they're so fun. But no, the humor in this was really fun. It did have some serious beats as well, but it did keep kind of a lighthearted tone throughout most of it. Even when people were like dying, it kind of reminded me of, honestly, it kind of reminded me of Critical Role, because people were like dying, and and it was like when Keyleth slowly suffocates a guy in lava, that's what it was giving me vibes of. It was a fun time. The writing is, I guess, nothing special, but it gets the job done and it's fun enough. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I had a great time with it. Then I finished a book with one of my groups of 5th graders, and that is The Fort by Gordon Corman. This is a book that every year group reads every year. the group loves it. This book is always a hit. And this year was no different. Like this book was strong enough that it made one of the boys who read it the other day, our question of the day for morning meeting was, what's your favorite genre of book? And granted, this isn't quite what genre means, but it, you know, got the spirit of it. It made him change his answer from comic to chapter. So, The Fort, Gordon Korman. The Fort is a children's middle grade book. It kind of has crossover between children's and middle grade. It does deal with some harsh topics. Following this group of 5 friends when, after a hurricane, they find this fort in the ground. And it is like a bomb shelter that was built by an eccentric billionaire during the Cold War. And so they start using this place to hang out. Like, it's just like a cool place to hang out, but they all have problems. One of them has a intensely abusive stepfather, and there are scenes of physical abuse in here that are like harrowing to read. And so he really uses it as an actual refuge. Like, he basically lives there because he's so terrified of going home. And it's about all of that, and it all kind of, you know, comes to a head. We got all these plot lines converging. It's a great book, and like I said, every year a group reads it. Every year the group loves it. 5 out of 5 stars. Then I finished another game. I played Refined Self, which came out in 2023. It took me 38 minutes. Refined Self is a personality test disguised as a as like a little adventure game where you play as this little character, and every different choice you make kind of tells the game about you and your personality. And it told me that I was violent and made decisions too quickly. So that's how that went. And then finally, the last book I read was The Obsession by Jessie Harris, which is book 8 in The Power. Now, I assume that the series was like all other teen horror series from the 90s and that you could read them in whatever order you wanted, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think I should have read the first 7 books first, but you still got what was going on. The Obsession follows this girl, Mackenzie, and she is she's a pretty normal girl, except for the fact that she is psychic. And a new girl comes to school, and she gets weird feelings about this girl. Like, she's like, something's quite a little bit off about her, and it doesn't help that this girl is also super clingy. Like, she is always calling them and always wants to hang out with them, and it is really kind of harsh on Mackenzie's buzz. 2 out of 5 stars. Again, would I have liked it better if I read the first 7? Maybe. I don't actually think so, though. So these are what I read last week. I'm keeping Sword Heart. I'm getting rid of this. This, by the way, was... Oh, The Fort for her kid was Disability Challenge OCD. One of the main characters does have OCD. And this is for Readathon Lost Interest. The only thing I received last week, is this beautiful double VHS set of Germinal. Because when I was reading The Debacle a couple weeks ago, I was reminded of this movie, and I was like, I want to rewatch that movie because I watched this in French class in college. So I did get a VHS of Germinal, so I can watch that then at my leisure. So that is that. Again, I hope to read more this week. I hope to do more this week. I was feeling very unproductive in general last week. Like, it wasn't just my reading that was suffering. It was legitimately everything. Everything was suffering. Grad school, doing stuff around the house. The laundry is piled up so high. Grading at school, just literally everything was so I was so unproductive with everything. So I hope, because that's how it goes, you know, I'm either deeply unproductive or I am doing literally everything. So I'm hoping to read quite a bit more this week. Again, I hope I can finish Horns today. I think I could. Now I really want to watch the movie, honestly. I'm not sure. I don't know. I looked at the trailer. I watched the trailer, and then I looked up who played who, and I don't know about that casting for Lee. He looks, I don't know. I think the guy, is it Terry? I think the guy who played Terry should be playing Lee, honestly. Anyway, that is that. I will talk to you later, and goodbye.